is very true that women have a natural sensitiveness which makes them, as the Buddhist teachings say, very able to manifest an intrinsic wisdom. Not that men do not have it, but the sensitiveness makes them very acutely aware, because the sensitiveness is very closely connected with wisdom, alertness, sharpness of the mind, environmentally conscious, ability to know what other people need and respond to that need. That's a very extremely important potential that women are gifted with. Now, since they are gifted with this extraordinary wisdom, the potential, I think they are also in a position to, if possible, use it wisely to cultivate all the possibilities of giving to the others. As a practitioner, I think that quality should be honed to its highest degree. If it is able to be done so, then I think life itself could be a practice. Examples in the text are always loving kindness as a mother's love for her child. When that example itself embodies a woman, then taking inspiration for that, one should practice beautifully and to its fullest potential the qualities of compassion, qualities of kind, qualities of generosity, qualities of giving to the others as best as one can. Now, the obstacle often comes is that while the sensitiveness is there, sometimes the sensitiveness does make you know too much, and that knowing too much makes one exhausted and feel often in a moment where you're very indecisive because there's just so many things to take care of. I think women need to be probably cultivating more the masculine quality of skillfulness in how you actually structure the many responsibilities correctly. So it's very much, the Buddhist perspective is very much how you would bring in a balance of skillfulness that would make more powerful the wisdom and the ability to know the needs of the others, so that what you are giving out is giving out, but it is not an exhaustion within one's own self. And the exhaustion comes when there is a little bit of, I think, scatteredness. The sensitive doesn't, just the brilliance of knowing too much makes an indecision, sort of creates an indecisiveness in the mind of the women. And that indecisiveness itself makes you take on more than you actually can give out at that time. So I think a little bit of pulling back skillfully and balancing that in your life, I think, is what is most important. And if that is done, a woman's life is an absolute gift in terms of inculcating the view of Dharma and the Buddhist practices, because your whole life becomes a practice. Now, on a much more practical note, I would say, no matter who you are, no matter how busy you are, you must make time for yourself. And that time for yourself, best is if you can spend some time in formal practice, formal meditation. Because the formal practice, whether it is only half an hour, even if it is only that amount of time, is the only time where you can actually rejuvenate your spirit, your own mind. You can organize your own thoughts. And that is the time that you give to yourself. Lacking in being kind to yourself, in giving that time to yourself, remember, you'll be exhausted. No matter how much you're doing, that doing itself will become entangled in emotions. And it doesn't carry the same flavor of selflessness then. So what does look selfish may actually be in the long run better for others and for yourself. Sometimes a bar of chocolate does better than a session of meditation.
You heard it here.
That's true. It's very true. Taking a walk sometimes is better than sitting on the cushion. You know, the problem is people imitate one another in what we all are guessing is the practice. One must use one's own mind to see what is most healing to oneself. Then you can be a source of goodness to the others. Otherwise, most of our concentration is just imitating one another, then there's a lot of Xerox copies going around. All right? Believe me, when you do this often, it gets better and better. Apprehensions of, practice and carrying the practice in life, in meditation and in post-meditation, formal and informal meditation, often encounters an impediment of people having stereotyped ideas. One example is, for example, when people begin to do prostrations, there will be a group of people who've done prostrations who will immediately announce it's going to be difficult for you. So you begin a practice with all the information that it has to be difficult, you're going to fall back on it, you're supposed to be facing difficulties, and so not many of the problems are your own. It's actually given to you as gifts from many other people. So the same happens with retreat. It's going to be difficult. I have one friend, woman, who's always talking about transition. I never heard this word more prominently than my spending time with her. For her, transition is always a big thing. From Sunday to Monday, the transition is a big deal for her. Weekend to a weekday is a big transition moment for her. So she always talks, oh, we have to go through this process of transition. So I've seen how that concept of transition itself that we think often makes things more sort of solid and rigid and tense than it needs to be. Yes, someone with less familiarity with retreat faces, everyone does, even without a baby being left behind, believe me, as a monk, as a nun, independent, going into something, you leave behind something. There are certain things that you take care of, have to take care of. Coming back is also challenging, that's very true. But if it is done often or regularly, then with familiarity, you're better prepared. You know what to expect. And because you know what to expect, it's easier. It's always easier. Secondly, a lot of it is stereotype. Messages that you get from people, it's going to be difficult. Try not to be too sensitive to that. That's very important. Third thing and most important, it's going to be difficult, accept the fact. Don't make it into a big deal. There's the moment where you leave your house behind and you get to the place. That moment, go with the understanding, you'll feel agitated. Coming back, you will feel agitated, you will feel difficult. The contrast is a little bit too much. The heightenedness of everything is there. Accept that it's going to be there. Ready yourself. And that's what you're going to be practicing, isn't it? You forgot the whole important phase of what is it that exactly you were doing during retreat. Hopefully, it hasn't been totally a waste that you had to come back with a totally unprepared mind. So don't forget the altogether important thing that should have been done in retreat is to have looked, seen the agitation, not making a big deal, and thereby being better prepared in coming back. You're in retreat for a week and thinking, I have to be kind, I have to be kind, I have to be patient. You come back, you put that into practice. Any endeavor that is there to support women as practitioners, that's excellent. I think that's very, very wonderful. I think being able to really not only create a financial resource, of course that's also very helpful because so many women are in situations where their resources do not allow them to practice. That's very much there. But also there are moments in the lives of women where they simply need to be able to have a sensible conversation. A conversation that is not totally emotional. By sensible, I mean which is not drawn into emotional dissection, but more in terms of shared experiences, especially in one area as a practitioner, and that is enjoying being alone. Being able to have the confidence that who you are as a person is absolutely fine. that further adornment of that person as an individual by association is not needed. I think women do tend to have a lot of confidence, but at the same time is always looking for affirmation of some kind, that it's all right to be that confident. So I think in that regard, if there is also a project such as the Yogini project that provides a platform for women to feel confident and assured in that confidence, that as they are, who they are as a practitioner, that it's very fine. That furthermore, something addition to that is not needed other than working with your own self. Then I think that's an excellent platform that will be helpful for many women.
Thank you so much, Rinpoche. And we endeavor to do that, to create the platform, the forum online where women can share their experiences of
Wonderful.
retreat and support each other. Virtually, it's easier to do it in a virtual world sometimes. Rinpoche, thank you so much.
Thank you.
On behalf of the Yogini Project.
Thank you. I wish the project, the Yogini Project, all success. And I hope that it extends towards everyone and more women are able to be supported. Happier women, I'm sure, will always be happier men too. Right? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so
very,
much.
Very much.
Thank you for
Thank
taking
you.
the time and
Not
advising us.
Thank you.